Good morning, David. Today we'll be looking at how we use our RNA to make proteins. Okay, so this is a pretty big process in our body, and it can be quite kind of complicated. We're going to look at what each of the RNAs do. Okay, it's really important. We can sort of tell like how this is happening, but we're going to look at like just the broad picture. We're not going to get into a lot of detail. Okay, so what protein synthesis means is it's making proteins using the DNA and the RNA code. Okay. So just remember what proteins are. They build up our body. It makes our bones, our muscles, our skin, our eye, all that type of stuff. But they're enzymes, and that's what regulates all the processes in our body. Okay, and we make our proteins out of ribosomes. All right. So when we're looking at a long code of mRNA, it's all these letters here. We look at something called a codon, and that's every three letters. So 1, 2, 3. Every three of these makes up a codon. All right, and that's the genetic code for one amino acid. And it's 3 nitrogen bases long. So those codons represent amino acids. There are start and stop codons. So anytime you see 3 of these in a row that is AUG, like this, AUG, that means start. So the next 3 would be your first amino acid of your protein. Then you have some that means stop. So these would be like the last ones of your protein. It might be UAA, UAG, or UGA. Those all mean to stop making the protein. That means the protein's done. All right, so there's a couple steps. There's 2 main steps of RNA or DNA to RNA and making proteins. The first one is called transcription, okay? And this is when the mRNA decodes the DNA and brings it back to the ribosome. So basically what happens, another enzyme, RNA polymerase, unzips the DNA. Remember, DNA is double-sided, and it unzips it. The mRNA goes into the nucleus and pairs up with the complementary bases of the DNA. All right, and then it carries that sequence back to the ribosome. All right, so it's sort of like these guys are like little workers. The mRNA goes in there and codes the DNA and brings it back to the ribosome where the protein's going to be made at. All right, step 2 is something called translation. And that's when that mRNA code is used to make a protein. So the mRNA is there at the ribosome, and the tRNA is floating around the cytoplasm with amino acids attached to them. It will attach to the mRNA in each codon every 3 letters. That's very important. The codons are very important. So every 3 letters, they'll attach like complementary. So the A's and U's, T's and A's, C's and G's, and G's and C's. All right? And then that amino acid is going to start the amino acid chain to make a protein that's attached to the tRNA. So here's sort of a good diagram. This green line here is the mRNA. See how these tRNAs are just floating around, and they're attached to amino acids. And they bring them down and start lining them up in a big chain here, all right? And that chain of amino acids is what makes up the protein. This is where it gets a little complicated at, and it's really just got to look at visually and match up the letters and that type of stuff. So every 3 letters is a codon, and those codons, again, are very important. How we use this here to figure out the amino acid is we look at the 3 letters. So like GCA, all right? So you start in the middle, find the G, so that's this one. All right, that's a G, that's a U, that's a C, and that's an A. And it's only 4 letters we use throughout all of this. So we look at the mRNA and look at every 3 letters. So you're going to go G, C, A. And that'll give us alanine. If it's AGU, A, G, and then down here is U, so that's serine. This is something you need to practice a little bit on, okay? Just come up with 3 letters that are either A, U, G, or C, and just put them in order. So say it's C, AA, CAA gives us glutamine. CAC gives us histamine. So just start in the middle and work your way out. All right, we're going to talk about this a little bit today when we meet, okay? So it's a little bit difficult, but we'll talk about it. This is all the amino acids. You do not have to memorize all of these structures or names. They're just showing you a picture of all the amino acids. All right, and just remember at the ribosome, that's where everything's made at. And the ribosome is actually 2 pieces, and it holds the mRNA in place while the tRNA is coming down and do everything. All right. So just right here, it's a summary of transcription. The mRNA goes into the nucleus and reads the DNA and decodes it. Translation is where we actually make the proteins. So that's RNA making proteins. It takes place at the ribosome. The tRNA matches up complementary with the mRNA and brings down the corresponding amino acid and makes the amino acid chain to make the protein. Hope this helps, and I will talk to you later.